Okay, so the first thing is everyone should be looking at the screen that we have here. Okay, the screen that we have here is our website. You see, fall 2020 for Clip Class. And how we get to this website is from this address bar, right? is.gd web library. Okay, so once you press enter at this address, you will then look at this website, okay, the landing page for it. So if you look below, right under the information about, our semester, our class, there's a contact box. That's me. Okay, my name is Wendy Chu. And this is the way to get in touch with me, my office phone number and my email address. So after the session, if you run into questions about the library, you can also contact me. So this website, as you see from up top, there are various tabs, right? They're very simple. You have step 1, 2, and 3. Okay, step 1, we're going to go into right now. And this is a very short module that lets students know about, well, how to access the library from home. So here we go. For students who, I think most of the class is here already, but in case, there's one student missing, someone who is not able to attend, let them know to run this step themselves at home. It's very short, just to let them know the very basics to getting to the library from home. So as you see, right, for CLIP ESL students 2020. So what is special about this semester as opposed to all, the past semesters? And this is new for fall 2020. The way you open resources from home now is different. What you need to have is, and I think Professor Teter also mentioned, I'm sure to the class already, the CUNY First account. All students should have CUNY First, okay? And this account, you have your username and password for this account. And these two are required for you to open electronic resources, okay? Now, the username usually is, like a composite of your first name, your last name, and 2 digits, the last 2 digits of your employee ID. And where is the employee ID? It's on your college ID card. So if you take out your college ID card, you're going to see this number, right? And then look for the last 2 digits of this number. And that would be part of that username that would be required. As far as the password, when you first open up the account, it's going to ask you, to create a password based on a certain structure, right? And once you set that password, you can always reset it later if you forget. So if you run this module, it's going to tell you all that information. And it has a little button here that's going to explain more about, CUNY First, what, these 2 fields are. So if you're not sure what you have done at the beginning, you may want to just click on that button, okay, to get the information. So once you're, you're pretty sure about the username and password, the next screen, Okay, anytime, as I said, that you click on a link at home, right, to an ebook, a database, and we will talk about these resources for our presentation, it will take you to a screen like this on your computer. And as you see from the screen, it's going to ask you for, you know, that username and then the password that you've set. Okay. Now that's why I'm telling you, you have to be sure you have this account. And unfortunately, the library does not administer this system. It is part of IT, right? If there's anything that you are not sure about with regard to CUNY First, contact the IT department. And this is what the slide provides. Okay, here is the email, the phone number for the IT department. You can even click on the button to get to the IT help desk. Okay, so, you know, you're gonna have them look up your account to be sure you have it. Or, you know, if you have a problem remembering what what your username and password were, then this is a good way to find out, right? Just contact IT. So that's, you know, basically what many students need to know as of fall 2020. Here is a slide of our library main page, okay? And our library main page, you're gonna be able to access just by, you see on our website, step 2, you see where it says go to library website, right? If you click here, go to library website, you will come to our library main page, which looks like this on the slide. Okay, and what this slide does is it explains what the different functions of the library main page are. So you can click on any of these. For example, you can click on a marker and it's gonna have a pop-up that tells you, okay, what some of these options do for you as, you know, a library user. You may not understand what textbooks are, right? So you can click on this and, you know, it gives you the instruction for each of these options. So this slide explains our library main page. We'll go to the next one. And lastly, okay, as I said, it's a very short module. Lastly, it's just our library hours. Okay, the library is closed right now. Nobody is able to get to the campus to go into the library to use, you know, computers, to look for books. Everything is online. The librarians, like myself, we are working from home. Okay, but we are here virtually. If you contact us, you can, you know, email us, call us, right? Call the reference desk. Somebody would be here to answer your questions for these hours. So if you're not sure, give us a call. Let's see. You'll get a reply immediately. Okay, so basically, that's what most students need to know for this period. Now, this presentation will be mainly about step 2. And what's more, there is a class page under step 2. Clip Professor Teter and the theme for the class, American Presidency. Okay, if you click on the class page, all right, so here is the class page. You see, Fall 2020, Professor Teter, Introduction to Library Resources. And once again, you have me, my avatar, and the contact information. And then there is a red box that gives the date and the time for this very session we are running. Now, I'm recording this whole session, and afterwards, I'm gonna place the video right in this red box. So if you, let's say, certain parts of the presentation you want to review later, right? Come back to this red box on the class page. You're gonna see this entire video. So you'll remember how we open a book or use the catalog, okay? Let's scroll down the page. Immediately you will see a section, the first section for recommended books and ebooks. You see that I'm recommending 5 books from our library, right? And all 5 books you can open up from home. Okay, you don't have to come to the library to borrow any book. It's a book that you can open up from the computer. Okay, and you're gonna see for every section on this page, there is immediately under it, this green button that says click the video tutorial. So just, to be sure you know what to do if you're interested in, let's say, one of the books. And you can click open this video. And it looks like it's a little slow because, there we go. As I said, it's a video. And I'm not gonna run it, but it's, it's about a couple of minutes. It will explain what you have to do to open up that book. You simply run it, click to play, and it's gonna run the video. And once you're done, you can, hide the video again. So that's, first of all, the books. The second section, we have recommended databases from the library. I'm recommending a few. As you see, right, you have these different tabs. American History Online, that's one database. If you click on the second tab, this is the US History in Context, okay? And then here is another database, Biography in Context, and you see that there's a short description of the database, right under the title, so that you know a little bit about what you're getting into. All right, so lastly, you have this database, Mass Ultra, which I always include for CLIP students. This has the full collection of magazines, newspapers, and they are at the reading level of high school students. It's easier to read, okay? There's also, again, the green button that explains what this section is, how you get into a database. And lastly, on the bottom of the page, there is our library catalog. It's called One Search. Okay, and here is the search box for the catalog. And you simply, type in, let's say, Donald Trump, if you're interested, right? You just simply type in those keywords and then click on search. It's gonna run the library catalog for anything with the keywords. Now, because I know a little bit about your assignment, I also created subject links to the library catalog, right? And you only need to just click on any of these, right, to get you to those items in the library catalog having to do with, the subject. The difference between using the library catalog and, the above 2 sections, the library catalog will get you everything from all the databases that it has connections to. So you will come back with a lot of results, sometimes too many, and it may be very overwhelming, very confusing, okay? If you're looking for, let's say, a catch-all, on your keywords, you'll dive right into one search. But if you're just working on an assignment, as a starting point, go back up, okay? Begin at either one of the databases or the books that I'm recommending first. Get some more background information about your topic. Know a little bit before you use the library catalog so that you don't get an overwhelming amount of information that you have to decide how to make use of. Okay, as a starting point, it's better for you to use one of the books or one of the databases. So I'm gonna take a look at our chat. Anyone with a chat question? Let's see. Okay, none so far. So I'll ask online. Does anyone have a question about the class page so far? Okay, since I'm not hearing anything, all right, let's open up a book.
Hello?
Okay, well, hello, yes?
Can you summarize something for me, please, about all you talk about that, please?
Summarize the class page?
Yeah, the class page.
Well, first thing is you need to know how to get to the class page, right? And from our website, the class page is under step 2, right? And then you'll see the class page right under step 2. It says clip your name, your professor's name, American presidency. And if you click on it, here is the class page that shows everything that you need for research in the class. And you'll see the class page with 3 different sections. The first one for recommended books, the second section on recommended databases, and the third, the link to our library catalog. To begin your research, I recommend students use the first section, recommended books. And with this, we will open the first book, okay? And the first book is American Politics and Society. Now, you can either click on the title or the book cover. It is the same. It's going to take you to the record in our library catalog. It's still getting there. There you go. Now, this is the library catalog. You'll recognize it with, the colors, the banners, the search box, right? And finally, here's the book. That's what we just clicked on, American Politics and Society. And right under the title, you're going to see this link. It says available online as a book. Okay, see, it says a book, right? It's also available online. What does that mean? Once again, this is a book that you will open up on your computer. You don't have to worry about, getting the book in our library building. Okay, there are a lot of books in our library, but the library is closed. Yeah. So those books that are on the shelf, they are not available currently to students. Since you are all able to access the library website and you have CUNY First account, you will be able to open up the book from home. So what you do now is click on available online. And then what will it do? It's going to take you to, you see, view online, right? And these are the collections, okay? The book collections that have access to the book. You select one of them. Doesn't matter which one because they both have access to the book. I'm going to select the first one and click on it. And when you do, it will, and I hope people remember, right? Because I talked about it from the module when we were running the module before with the different slides. It will take us to a screen requesting for, you see, off-campus access. And wait a little bit, because now it's going to jump from this screen to the prompt for, there you go. You see the username and password.
Okay.
Okay, so once again, to make sure you guys, you know what they are, right? There are links all throughout, right? You can either, click on this link to be sure you know what they are, or if you have trouble, you're a new user, you never created your account, all the links are somewhere on the screen, so that you'll find out, you'll get the information you need to create this account. So I'm going to use my account. And if everything is all right, I'm going to click on login. And after that, we will get into, and I'm seeing the book link already, so we will get into our book, American Politics and Society. You see, here's the book. And again, we are getting this book from the Ebook Central collection, right? There are 2 collections that have access to the book. So how you read this book online now, this is an ebook, so everything will be done on the screen. You scroll down and look for the table of contents, okay, because it's going to tell you the different chapters of the book. And you see right under table of contents, these chapters are in the form of links. Right under American Politics and Society, this is actually the book, show subsections. I'm going to open it. And once I do, you see the different chapters of the book, right? Now, they all have to do, I selected these books because they will be useful for you when you do the assignment. You see chapter 6, elections and political participation. If there is a section that interests you, you can also show the subsections, right? It's going to explain, the electoral college. Let's see. Let's scroll down a little bit more. You have chapter 10, the presidency, powers and selection. You can also open up, and then you see formal sources of power, informal powers. Okay, you get to know everything about how our president is selected, what the process is, some of the issues concerning the process. Okay, the controversy. So this is a good book, for questions having to do with that. Let me just get into, let's say, informal powers. There's also a show subsection. Let me do that. World leader, right? We're going to click on it if we're interested. And the good thing about the ebook is once you click on a link for a chapter, it takes you directly to the chapter. You see, right? Here is the chapter on the presidency, powers and selection. And this is where it's going to talk about the president as a world leader, right? It's going to fill in with some background history. So you can just scroll down the page to read the book. That's how you do your reading online. Now, if some of you, as you're reading, you may say, I really like, this particular passage, or I want to download the chapter, to do my reading by printing out, the whole chapter and do my reading that way. You can do that. We have a menu bar on the screen. So you can customize, you can, let's say right here, chapter download, click on that icon to download the chapter, to print it out, to read elsewhere. You can do all that. And as I say, you can also customize the screen a little bit more. make the screen larger, smaller. The buttons are all here, right? Anyone who has experience with reading an ebook, right? You know that there are a lot of things, a lot of tools for you to customize the look so that you are able to read comfortably online. So you can do the same thing for this book collection with any of the books in this collection. Okay, so this is actually, if we go back to the class page, the very first book. Okay, and again, as you see, it gives a lot of information about the election. Okay, the process of election. The second book. Hello?
Question, Professor Chu, question.
Yes.
Where does a student get the citation if he or she decides to use something from a book? How does he or she create the citation?
That's very good. Now I'm flipping back to the page. Okay, the record from our library catalog for the book. Remember, right? Here is the title, and this is the link that would get us to the book collection, right? But if you look under the title from the record, you're going to see again a whole new set of tools. It says send to, and these tools, one of which is called citation, okay, with a quotation mark. So once you decide, hey, this is a good book, I'm taking some information to answer the question or to write the essay, the research paper for Professor Teter, I need to provide the citation. So you're going to click on the citation tool. And once you do, you see, it will automatically generate the citation. Now, the first choice is the MLA citation format, which is good for the class because that's exactly what you need. Depending on your college subject, right? You may have to choose, some of the other formats, but usually it's set at MLA. And here's the citation again. And there's a little link under the citation that says copy citation to clipboard. You can click on it, and that's it. It's copied. So this entire citation has been copied. If you have Word open on your computer, you can then paste the citation to that page in Word, right? You can, if you have something else open, like a Google document, just paste it into your Google document. All kinds of things you can do once you have the citation. Okay, so it's right again on the record of the book, right under send to as one of the tools, the citation. Okay. Another question? Everyone's okay? Let me just look at chat again. Can you read the ebook on a cell phone? Okay. Now, that's something that I don't know how you guys do it. The phones are rather small, and as you saw from the book before, it's reading a whole book or even a chapter of the book on a little space of for the screen that is the phone. I wouldn't recommend it, but you can do it. We opened the book up before, right? So you can read this book when you do the chapter download. So you can download that chapter as a PDF. You see it says PDF, right? Yeah. So you're going to download that chapter or maybe specific pages, right, of the book. And it's going to ask you where you want to save it. So you could save it to, Google. And then you can access Google, right? And then read from there. Now it's a PDF. So you're going to have to make do with reading a PDF on your phone. Now you're not going to be able to read the entire book right? Because it would mean the first option here, full download. I don't recommend it because I think for most student assignments, you do not have to read the whole book, right? And when you do want to download the entire book, in addition to downloading the book, you also have to download the Progress Ebook Central reading app. Okay, just like, you know, if you have a Kindle, right? Or maybe an Android, right? Android, and you read one of the Kindle books, you have to download their app. So you do the same thing here. You have to download the app, and after you download the app, you have to create an account. And once you create the account, then you can download the full book. So with all that you have to do just to get, you know, like maybe a couple of pages to the book, I don't recommend it. You simply do the chapter download a lot quicker. Okay. There we go. Now, let me just get back to the class page because I do want to open just one other book, right? Judging Executive Power. See, all the books are especially selected for your assignments because they provide information for, you know, what you're going to be writing about. So, you know, some of you may use the first book, others, you know, the other books on the list, they are all useful. Okay, they fill out the different questions that you all have, and you know which you will be writing about. I mean, you have different core questions, right? And you may select different core questions. So here is the one about Supreme Court cases, right, having to do with American presidency. So, you know, for those who choose to answer this core question for your research, you may end up, you know, using the book. And as you see, here is the record. The same way, there is the link that would take you to the book collection. Here it is. All right, you click on the link, put in your CUNY First account information, and you would get into the book. Okay. I'm going to close some of the tabs so that we don't get confused over a lot of information on the screen. Now, so we just explored the very first section of the class page. We're going to come down. And now we'll talk about the recommended databases. Also a good starting point. The first one that I recommend is American History Online. It is a link, and you have only to click on the link. And is it going to take us to the prompt for the username and password? Let's see. Here is American History Online. You see, it's sort of, it didn't ask for the username and password. Why? Because once you put in that information for your first library item, right, it is good for the entire sitting. So, you know, as long as you're using the computer, right, it will remember the username and password. For all the other items from the library, you're gonna open up. Once I shut down the computer, I'm done with the PC for today, right? And tomorrow, let's say I want to finish my research and come back to this database. It's gonna prompt me again for the username and password. It will only remember that information for one sitting, for the duration of your sitting. Okay, so now it remembers the information, and it will automatically take you to the database. This is a a good database to, again, get background information. As you see, right, from top, there is the search box, American history, and here's the search box. The way I recommend students to use this database, you see that there's a button, right, under the search box. It says browse. You see, browse. And it has all these topic centers. You could do research on any part of American history just by selecting some of the links. Now, I recommend if you scroll down, right, there is a section that says Foreign Affairs and U.S. Government, right? I'm going to click on U.S. Government. So rather than, if you have something to type into the search box, that's okay. Input that, you could type in Electoral College, right? Presidential powers, the power to veto, all of those, that's good. But I recommend students use the browse feature, right? To get to the US government, because you see, right? It's going to give you, as you're looking at this, some of them might be relevant for what you're writing about. You see, as I'm scrolling down, right? Suggested research topics, right? Presidential election, the right to vote, right? All that, Electoral College, elections, all of that is on the page. If you're interested in, again, the presidency, right? You can click. You see how the database and the books that I recommended, they are different ways for you to access this information. Presidential inaugurations, right? Here is, it comes with the different chapters, right? You can do your reading, get the information you need to answer, the questions, your research questions. You can go to, let's say, the powers of the president, electing the president, right? Any of the chapters, sort of like another ebook. Here is the powers of the president. You see? All right. So here is another way for you to get information. Is there a question? Let me just look. Okay, Professor Teter, could you please input Watergate scandal in the database? You could put that in. Okay, I just entered, but you see Watergate scandal? So you could, if you have the keywords, right, you can make use of the search box. You can put in like the name of the president, right? FDR, the New Deal, right? For anything that you want to look up having to do with American history in the search box. And here is the Watergate. And it puts all the different items into groups. So if you want to retrieve an article, right, here are all the articles having to do with the Watergate scandal. You can also get, videos, newspaper information. It's up to you to decide how you want to begin understanding that topic. I mean, some of you may want to say, hey, I just want a short video having to do with that. Let me see from the video. That's how I usually learn, right? I begin with the meaning of Watergate. I want to get a short video having to do with that. You can, start by reading or, watching a short video. So that is American History Online, right? You can come back to, let's say, the class page. These are good starting points. You can make use of American History Online, or one of the books. That was just the first database. I don't want to overwhelm people because, you know, it is a class of 16 individuals. All of you would, you know, decide how you want to dive in to, you know, do your research. Some of you may get into a database. Some of you may read one of the books up top, right? You know, if you have a president in mind, you want to look up, right? Specifically his life. This is what the biography and context would be. So if you know, click on biography and context, and you will see that it looks a little bit like the first database in that there is a search box. Here is biography and context. Yes, can videos be cited? Yes. I think, let me just, while we open up the database, okay? And once you get into a database and you have an item, right? Whether it's an article or video you're using, in fact, let me just switch to, you know, this one, the meaning of Watergate. Once you click on an item, you will always see usually a lot of tools, right? A lot of tools on the screen for that item. As it's loading up this video, you see right under the title, some of the tools. And one of them is, you know, citation, isn't it? You see right here, citation. So if you click on citation, it is still loading up the video. Again, I apologize. My PC is slow. If you click on citation, it will, just like, you know, the library catalog, generate the citation to this video for you. And as you know, the citation provides information to your professor on where you're getting this particular item. So if you click on it, there you go. It's, again, the default is MLA, right? And for this citation, you're gonna have to manually highlight, you see? Unlike before where there was a link that says copy to the clipboard, right? And it will just, you know, copy everything. You have to highlight the whole citation. And then you're gonna do a right click and copy to, again, your Word document or your Google document, or, you know, any of which you're using to write your assignment. So that's how you get the citation for any item in a database. This database for biography, you know, if there is a president in mind, if you want to study Richard Nixon, right, you can do that. Maybe you want to study Donald Trump. Maybe you want to study FDR, right, or Washington, right? Anyone in American history. If this database is going to pull in information from, let me just come down so you have an idea of what is provided. You're going to see it is a database. So already you're talking about a lot of sources. You see, you have from this page, journals, biographies, primary sources, journals, magazines, right? Even, again, multimedia, everything having to do with Richard Nixon, all provided on the page. So you just decide, hey, how you want to, you know, gather up your information. You want the newspapers, you want the information from magazines, It's up to you. Could you please explain the difference between primary and secondary sources? Okay, now that's going to take a little bit, okay, to explain, because it goes into like, if you look at, you know, what's on this page, right? Look at all the different categories of information, right? You have academic journals, you have images and newspapers and magazines. You have all these different categories. So how do you decide which of these categories or which of the many items in these different categories are primary versus the secondary? Okay, that is going to take some time. But very briefly, primary, right, is direct, firsthand experience of that, you know, the topic. So if it's about Richard Nixon, what is firsthand experience about Richard Nixon? What do you think it would be? It would be likely something that he himself has written about his life, right? So you may be referring to, let's go to primary sources and see if maybe this is directly from his writing. It's going to take us to those 8 sources, right? The Chequers speech. So, you know, he provided a speech, right? Dark Days in the White House. Maybe it's something that he's written. Executive order, something that he's created. His debate. So, you know, all these possibly are from his own experience. Versus secondary sources. What are the secondary sources? Those are more indirect. So you may be gathering information from other people writing about Richard Nixon. And who are the other people? Well, now we look at some of the other categories, right? Some of them could be, you know, his biographer, right? Providing the biographies here. Some of them could be, you know, the magazine authors, the newspaper authors, the journal authors, right? The filmmakers. Now, I kind of skipped over because this is kind of complex with primary sources. There's a lot of primary sources that don't directly come from Richard Nixon himself, but they are still considered primary sources, right? It could be, you know, somebody of that time period writing about Richard Nixon during his period. That's also firsthand experience. So the technicality of it will take a little longer to explain, but very briefly so that people understand for the session, right? The first thing is it has to come from Richard Nixon himself, right? Versus, you know, everyone else. That's very briefly the, you know, the cut between first and secondary. Let me just go back to chat to see if there's anything else.
Thank you, Professor Chu.
Resignation. I'm not sure what resignation. Could you please research about first ladies or the scandals? Okay, now this is where, if we come back to the databases, remember American History Online, browsing for topics, right? I remember on the side there are a lot of links, one of which is for first ladies. So for the you know, for anyone who is researching on first ladies, you know, their life histories, may you know, go to American History Online, right, and get to know, to decide which of the many first ladies you want to do research on. If you have a certain person in mind, then that's where you go into biography and context, right? And then with Professor Teter, you know, you may want to check on some primary sources of that person, right, versus the secondary. Okay, so, you know, for those who are choosing people to research on, right, that would be the database. If you don't have a name in mind, you want to get to know some of the names, you know, go back to browsing for topics in American history online. Okay, so we will now, wait a second. Any more questions before we get to the third section? Let's see. Okay, so no questions. We will go now to OneSearch. Now, I wasn't planning to really take too much time to explain OneSearch, only because I think with the first two sections, that would be enough, and, you know, giving you enough information to do your assignment, the research required for your assignment. All right, you know, if you all take the time to maybe look into some of the books here, or go into the different databases, right, and look around in the database for links, right, for topics, you're going to see that there is already plenty of information to answer the questions for your paper, and that would be already enough. And, you know, having too much may you know, negate the benefit of this class page, because it ends up being very confusing. So, but then, you know, it is the library catalog, and just in case, right, you know, you really want to have a look at what is available from our library, right, aside from the database, you know, or the book. Then, you know, as a last check, here is the search box, right? You can type in Watergate scandal, right? You can type in Nixon. What else? You know, if you are interested in first ladies, right, you could do that. But just know that if you are typing in those keywords, you are searching for all the databases, all the books. It's like everything we have in the library with those keywords. It will be, you know, if what you saw from one database was already enough, this will be overwhelming. So if you put in first ladies and you click on search, so I'm seeing about, you know, you see the number of results here, right? 787,000 plus. So that's why I'm saying, you know, as a starting point, you go into a database, you use one of the books. If you use the library catalog, it is overwhelming. Okay, this is for when you really want to get a long research paper done about your topic. You want to see what the library provides. Now, it looks like finally we got the whole page. And we have a lot of results. The reason is, if you look to the left, right, it gives you a lot of filters. Okay, for students, you see there are books, and there are journals, and there are items online. For our situation, you want to select only the online items, because you see that there is another category that says currently on shelf. So among the 700,000 plus results, you're going to see a lot of books currently on the shelf, which Well, they're included in the results, but they really amplify the impact because you really don't need to see those items right now. As a student, you cannot get to the building, so you may want to exclude, right, items if you're using the library catalog to do your search, right? You can deselect the currently on shelf items, or another way is simply to select full text online and then apply filters. So again, to summarize, I want to have a look at the library catalog to see all items that I can open up from home, okay, on the computer, having to do with first ladies, right? This is what I've done. So now there are still 700,000 plus, you see, right? So all these items now, you see, available online, available at Kibbe Library Stacks. So these are books that are available in 2 formats in our library. You can go to, you know, the building and read the book on the shelf, or you can also open up the book right at home, just like those ebooks that you know, I went into before, right? You have those books, and then you also have articles. In fact, if I go back to the left and open up resource type, you're going to have a look at exactly what we're looking at for those 700,000 plus results. Many of them are articles, right, from the different databases. Some of them are book chapters or books. Some of them are from journals. You see the gamut of information, the categories right under resource type. Okay, so that's, again, a lot, right? But depending on the amount of research that students are doing, right? Here is one search that tells you everything that we have at Kingsborough. Okay, it could be on anything. I just put in first ladies, you know, because there was a student asking about, you know, how do you do research about first ladies? Well, if you use the library catalog, that's one technique, right? And you know, a companion to first ladies. Here's a book. You know, if you're interested, you know, now you can click on available online to get to the book collections, you know, offering you access to the book. Now, look at this on the bottom, right? It says newspaper search versus load more results. I would say skip over newspaper search here, okay, because that's something relatively new, that based on what I'm learning, especially with the amount of information already, the number of results that you get, you don't have to do a separate search for newspapers. You can continue to load more results. So you're going to see, you know, the rest of those results showing up on the screen. It's going to be a lot. And it's still loading up the second page. So that's why, to come back to the class page, I say if you have a question about first ladies, use the databases that I offer first, okay? You'll see once you go in, there is still plenty of information, right? That would be enough for you to finish your assignment. You use the library catalog if you want to, well, it's a higher level assignment that requires more research. Maybe your Professor Teter, wants you to at least get, I mean, some research papers professors really do require at least 10 sources, right? 10 to 20 sources. That's a pretty lengthy paper. So in that, you may want to use the library catalog to get to those sources. But for your assignment, I think, using one of the databases here, or maybe a couple of the databases would be enough. So yes, that's a class page. Any questions now about any part of the class page? Speak up or put in your message in chat.
I think it's a lot to digest, but
I
you
guess
provided
it's
an overview.
Uh-huh.
And in class, I've already introduced them a little bit to the database.
Yes.
You
Oh,
know,
which database?
I had Academic Complete
Oh,
because
Academic Complete. Okay.
it was on the top. It was on top, and it was just an easy access. So I just wanted to emphasize having a CUNY first account,
Mhm.
and that people can access, and that they can listen to the article while they read it. Mostly. That can be helpful too.
Yes.
It's more looking at the process. It's how to
It
find
is.
something, how to cite it,
Mhm.
how to create a bibliography,
Mhm.
those kinds of things.
I think each of those points could well be a presentation
Mhm.
in itself.
Mhm.
That's why to fill in everything all at once, to have one information session, it is a lot of information to students at once. That's why I'm recording this, right? Just in case some of you, you may want to come back to the recording, right? To, remind yourselves how it was that you used the catalog, or how it was to use, American history online. So yes, that's what the recording is for. It is a lot on the class page. I want to let everyone know that this website, even after the semester, right, after fall 2020, after the class, it will still be up, because there is still plenty of information on the website that is useful for CLIP students. There is also a step 3. I'm not going to talk about it today, but on your own, right? If you want to find out a little bit more about what's beyond the course, right? Your program, if you want to do some job seeking, right? What are the careers out there? Make use of the student resources on this website under step 3. And always, any part of this, for those who are confused and, may want to get my help for your research, simply contact me, right, with my email address. Let me know like what you're working on. If, like you're looking for a book, or I want some articles on a certain person or so, and you can't find it at all on the class page, yeah, I will be here to see what I can do. Alrighty.